Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on? Well, we got the Trump rally right now. Trump's in the office. We're never going to have a bear market again. This euphoria is going to last all 4 years, man. We're going straight up. We're going to the moon. Moon boys are loving it, right? I mean, he's the Bitcoin president. Bitcoin's loving it, right? I mean, no bear markets ever. Bear markets are outlawed. No recession. Recession's over. It hasn't even started yet. It's already over. All good news, right? Not my take. Not my take. You guys know me better than that. The pain is still to come. And there's going to be pain. The Donald, yeah, I'm happy as can be that he got in. But the fact is, he cannot correct all of the problems. We have huge problems in this country, and he's not going to be able to solve them. Now, it sounds like he can solve them. He's going to get Elon to go in and clean house in the government and just wipe out all the debt somehow, decrease expenditures somehow. I don't see it happening like that. Okay, so here's my take. Yes, we got the Trump euphoria, right? Yes, I have a small short position on. It was winning. It was up 2%. Now it's losing. It's down 3%. It's small though, right? Where's my big money at? My big money's in the gold. My big money's in the silver. My big money's in the miners. That's where my big money is. They've been outperforming. And they'll continue to outperform. See, a lot of people think that Trump, the Bitcoin president. So Bitcoin shot up and gold took a dump, right? I mean, it went down one day only, back above 2,700 the next day. We'll see how it does today, right? But okay, so anyways, I still think that gold will be a lot higher when he finishes. I think well over 5,000. Now, of course, the Bitcoin people, they think they're going to get to 1 million by the time the Donald's done, because Donald's going to help them, right? Bitcoin, they wanted to be all left alone. Now they all want the government's help. Kind of strange to me. But okay, so I still think that the recession, if we're not already in one, actually I know we're in one, and I think it's going to get deeper. I don't think we're going to get out of it. Yes, we've had some great days in the market. Yes, the market reacted very positively, mainly positive because it's not going to be, the election's final, right? It's not going to be contended, right? I mean, nobody's going to challenge the election results. I mean, they're going to try maybe, but it's pretty done, right? Okay, so the Donald's in there and everything's moving higher, right? It's moving higher. But here's the thing. Okay, so the Fed comes out yesterday, right? And I mean, and it cut rates again, cut them 50 basis points, now 25 basis points, right? Now, what's gold doing? Well, you see, gold took the big dump when Donald got elected, but now it went back up. Why'd it go right back up? Because it can tell what's coming. What's coming is inflation. Now, here's the thing. They're going to get rates down. Okay, they're going to bring that short end of the curve, they're going to bring that down, right? They're going to reduce them. I think it's a mistake because the long end's telling you that. The long end's not coming down with the short end. It's kind of going up, right? Okay, and I'd still say mortgage rates are going to get above 10%. When that happens, look out in the housing market. It's already weak. It's already starting to come down, but that'll bring it down a lot quicker. But the Fed, they come in, they cut basis points. Now, this is interesting. I just heard this. Now, I got some people that watch in Australia. Tell me if this is true. Is there really a law going into effect in Australia where you cannot criticize the Australian central bank? Is that true? You criticize the central bank, you go to jail. I mean, they'd take my channel right off, right? I mean, I'd be in jail. I say end the Fed tomorrow. Why can I criticize them? Because they've lost 99% of your purchasing power. Of course I'm going to criticize them. I'm angry with them. I want to get rid of them. Look, I don't like losing 99% of my purchasing power. That's just wrong, right? I mean, just in the last 3 years, they took away 25% of it. What they're doing to us is very painful, and it's painful for the poor people, not the rich people. Of course, not the rich people. Rich people got gold. They got stocks, right? Do you realize half the households, they don't have any stocks? Less than 1% of households have over an ounce of gold, less than 1%. So those are held by rich people, right? And the rich people are doing well because their assets are exploding higher. They can afford everything, right? But the poor people, they can't afford to eat. They can't afford to live. Can't afford to keep a roof over over their head. I know homeless people, they have jobs, but they can't live indoors. Kind of frightening in my opinion, but this is what's going on, right? But they're going to try to keep the rates low, right? And the real rate is going to be, well, it's going to be even lower, right? Because inflation is going to go up this way, and they're trying to bring the rates down this way. So when you deduct the inflation from the interest rate on the bonds, right, they're going to be probably negative, right? And they want to get to nominal rates that are actually negative, right? You see, here's how you determine the real rate. You take the inflation rate and you subtract it from the bond rate, right? So bonds at 4%, inflation's at 8, you got a negative 4%, right? So they're going to stay negative. They're very minimal, even on their own terms. Now, their own terms, well, they say inflation's at 3%, bonds paying 4%, so they're saying we have a 1% positive real rate of return, but that's pretty low, right? And they're going to keep them this low until we get hyperinflation. I think hyperinflation's coming. I think it's going to get here a lot quicker than people think. Now, I know that Donald's a smart man, right? I mean, he's got this all figured out. He's going to kill that inflation. At the same time, he's going to print all this money. Now, if he can pull that off, I'm going to be really impressed. But here's the thing. I think the gold trade is probably your best bet. I really do. I know you guys to say I'm a gold bug. Gold's a record high right here. I'm really not a gold bug. You bring gold 1-to-1 with the Dow, you'll see me sell every ounce of gold I have. Absolutely, I will. You see, back in 1980, it was a terrible time to buy gold. You should have been in the stock market. Stock market was dirt cheap in 1980. Where's the stock market now? My opinion only, it's at record highs, and it's very expensive, extremely expensive. Warren Buffett will tell you it's expensive. The Buffett indicator's over 200%. Normal's 100%. And we usually overshoot to the downside. That means we got 50% to drop, maybe a little more than 50%. We'll see how it plays out. But you see, I think the stock market's extremely expensive. I think gold, extremely cheap. I think silver is the cheapest asset on the planet, right? I mean, you can still get an ounce, what, 34, 35 bucks for a physical ounce. Walk into a coin store, get a coin of the realm, even better. Get one of those silver dollars, they're cool, $50. Get a quarter, get a dime. All of that is real money if it's pre-1964, right? That's real money. And real money is going to make a comeback. Mark my words, this is just my take. You see, here's why. Now, nobody in their right mind is buying the treasuries, right? The 30-year, the long end. I know there's nothing wrong buying the short end, 6 months, 2 years. Yeah, I'm okay with that because you can get, you're going to get your money back and a little bit of interest on top of that. But you going to go loan the government for 30 years at whatever it is, 4.5? No, you're not. I'm not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. So here's what they're floating. Here's what they're floating out there, right? Okay, so the government can't sell these, so the Fed has to buy them, right? Now the Fed's balance sheet's going to explode. 8 trillion, 9 trillion, 10 trillion, 20 trillion, 30 trillion. The Fed balance sheet going to explode. They're going to be the buyer. I think they're already starting to buy because they have to. There's no one who would buy these things in their right mind. You'd be a fool. They're uninvestable, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people think I'm wrong on that, but okay. You want 4% from 30 years and you think there's not going to be any inflation over that time? Well, that's fine, but I think gold's a much better play. But here's what they're floating out there, right? Okay, this is the story that's going around. They're floating out there that they're going to make the interest that they get when you buy a bond, you buy a 30-year bond, they're going to make that interest tax-free, right? So normally what happens is like you buy the bond, they pay you interest, and then the government, they take 20% of that interest back from you, right? So it's 20% reduction for them, even though they're paying you. They know they get that back in the form of taxes, but they make them tax-free. They're not going to get that back anymore. Now, that's going to be real interesting to me. Now, maybe that'll make more people buy these bonds, but they ain't going to make me buy the bonds. But that's what they're floating out there because they know they're in trouble because nobody wants to buy these. So they want the U.S. to start, backing the government, right? They want to get in there, take their savings out of the bank, give it to the government for 30 years, right? Patriotic thing to do. Only if you're a fool, only if you're an idiot, only if you want to have a negative rate of return over that time in real terms, of course, you'll get your 4%. I do believe they're going to pay you your 4%. But I also do believe before 30 years is up, probably before 3 years is up, we're going to see hyperinflation come along. What's hyperinflation? I'll just use 50% a year. 50% a year. That would be, it's technically, I think it's 50% a month is the definition of hyperinflation. A lot of countries have had this worst thing that can ever happen to the country. But I mean, it's a train wreck when your country has hyperinflation. But they got these ideas that they're floating around, make, the interest on the bonds, make it tax-free. Okay, that's interesting. Now, the Donald, he got in, right? So we're not going to get that $25,000 credit for houses that Kamala wanted, and you saw the home builders drop on that news, right? They didn't go up when the Donald got elected because they just lost $25,000 a house. Kamala was going to give that away, right? She's going to give what? That $50,000 to go start a business, $6,000 to pop out a kid, right? Okay, that was the Kamala. That's all gone. So let's tell you what the Donald's going to do for us. What's he going to do? Well, for old people like me, we're not going to have to pay the taxes on our Social Security. Now that's interesting. Social Security is already broke, right? It's a crisis, actually. It's a big crisis in the United States. There's more money going out than's coming in. You young people, I don't know what you got to do. You got to work harder. You got to make more money so that you can give it to us, again, in form of Social Security, right? But Social Security is on the way down, right? Going to be completely broke in about 5 years. Okay, yeah. So what are they going to do? They're going to print the money. But here's what the Donald's going to do. He's going to make the payments to Social Security tax-free. Right now, we got to pay tax on that when we get Social Security. I've not taken Social Security yet, but a lot of my friends are, and they got to pay tax on it. Because, see, they can't go get a job because they just take away more of their Social Security, right? Even though they need money because they can't live on Social Security now. Now, you wait a few years, you're not going to be able to buy a cup of coffee on Social Security. But that's just my take, right? I mean, the pensions, you got a pension, that's outside of the government. That's all good, but your pension's underfunded right now. They don't have the money to pay you, so you're going to get a haircut on your pension, probably somewhere between 30 and 60%. We'll see how good your pension is. A lot of things are going to come out when the market comes down. Now, of course, it's not going to come down because we got the Donald in. There's not going to be a bear market. It's impossible to have one because we'll just print more money, right? We can just print more money, get out of the bear market. We're not going to have a recession. We're just going to print more money, never have a recession again. MMT, baby, all the way. The Donald's got this all figured out. It's not my take, though. Okay, here's the other things that aren't going to be taxed, right? Your tips no longer taxed. Okay, I'm in favor of that. People that work for tips, they're usually not the wealthy people. All right, that's fine. Overtime pay. Overtime pay is not going to be taxed anymore. But it's interesting that they're floating out tax-free Treasury payments, tax-free Social Security. Those are a big hit to a government that's already broke. But don't worry, we got Elon in there. He's going to wipe out a lot of the excess spending, and then the government's going to have all this money. Well, where's he going to wipe it out exactly? Is he going to do away with defense? The defense got a lot of waste, right? Maybe he's going to go do away with Social Security. No, you can't do that. The old people, maybe he's going to do away with Medicare. How's he going to clean up Medicare? Maybe he can, maybe he can. I don't know, but interest is the only other one. There's only 4 departments right now that make any difference. You could wipe out the whole rest of the government if you don't have enough money to pay for those 4 departments, so you're going to have to continue to print money. Eventually, you're going to have to wipe out 1, 2, 3, or all 4 of those, and then you're going to be fine. You're going to start from scratch. That's called a default. You default. You tell people, we're not going to pay you the interest. You tell people you're not going to get your Social Security. We tell Medicare you can't come into the hospitals because you don't have any money. Okay, maybe that's how it's going to play out, but we got a lot of problems, and I don't mean to be negative because there's a lot of hope out there right now. And I do have a lot of hope with the Donald over Kamala, right? I mean, it's just more hope, right? I mean, he's got a plan. I don't know what her plan was. She couldn't ever spill it out, right? And maybe that's why she didn't get elected. She didn't, I mean, it always cracks me up. What were you done different in the last 4 years? Well, nothing. Really? Well, then we don't want you. And America spoke. We proved that. Okay, maybe that's where she lost the election. But things are going to change. Things are going to be changing. But the pain, I don't think it's going away. Leave me a comment if you think the pain's going to go away. Leave me a comment if you think there's going to be no bear market ever again. Leave me a comment if you think the recession's done and we're never going to have one again. I don't know. The next 4 years, yeah, I'm glad the Donald's in there. You know why? He's a bankruptcy president. He's an expert at bankruptcy. And our country's bankrupt, and they need someone that can do bankruptcy to get us out of the situation we're in. We're going bankrupt. We're already bankrupt, but we're going to get out of it somehow, right? He's an expert at that. He's done, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I don't know how many times he's done it. I just know he's an expert at that, and we're going to build back with capitalism, right? Maybe we'll get a free market. Maybe we'll get sound money, gold and silver. I'm telling you, it's going back because, you know, the money you have, it ain't going to be worth anything. Yes, stock market's going to go up. Yes, maybe Bitcoin goes to $1 million, but you got to convert it back to dollars, right? I mean, I don't know if I'm just a gold and silver guy because I know they've worked for 5,000, 6,000 years, and they're going to continue to work. That's where I'm putting my major money in, right? I got a little short position. I'm not worried about. I mean, that thing, you know, if it loses 5%, I'll dump it out of it. But the big money, gold, silver, the miners got hit pretty hard the day Donald got elected. I was in there buying, man. I've had some miners this year. I mean, some of them, shoot, 50, 60% up for the year. I mean, it's incredible, right? The miners, and they're still cheap. They're not expensive. You didn't miss anything yet. That's what's funny, you know. I mean, you compare the price of gold to the miners. Miners should be about double what they are for the price of gold. I mean, it's just incredible to me. Anyways, I like that. I've kind of rambled on today here. Some of the comments say I'm rambling on too much, but give me a thumbs up anyways. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.